Huh? Who are those people in my house? Is this no longer our house?
Of course, I sold that house 3 months ago. By the way, you and I filed a divorce 3 months ago, too.
Are you sure about this?
Trouble Busters!
Huh? Who are those people in my house? Is this no longer our house? My name is Melanie. I'm 32 and there's strangers living in my house after I was gone for 6 months taking care of my sick parents. I don't know what to do about this. Hello? Joshua?
Hey, Melanie, is that you? What's up?
I just got back home and I see these strangers living in our house.
Of course, I sold that house 3 months ago.
Huh?
By the way, you and I filed a divorce 3 months ago, too.
What?
You didn't know about this, huh?
Of course not. You haven't even called or texted me at all.
Which should have been obvious enough to you. Don't you know that you're not attractive to me at all? How do you even expect me to keep loving you?
Oh, God.
You should learn from Jessica next door. She never gets old, and she's always beautiful.
Oh, God. This is ridiculous. Come to think of it, though, Joshua's been cold-shouldered since before I left for 6 months. But I tried my best, too. No matter how busy I was taking care of my parents, I always made sure that I used the best skincare products to stay attractive to him. He can't do this to me. I'm not letting him get away with this. Trouble Busters! I went around looking for ways to make Joshua pay back for what he's done to me. We agreed to meet at the cafe nearby the next day.
And? What do you want from me at this point? Are you gonna ask if we can get back together?
Oh, that's not what we're here for.
Huh?
I'm going straight to the subject. I'm sure you're aware that you and I legally owned that house that you sold without my consent, correct?
So what?
Why did you sell it without even talking to me?
Why not? We don't need that house anymore.
But I never agreed to this.
So what?
How did you even sell the house?
Huh?
There's no way you could have sold that house on your own. You need all parties' agreements to sell the house.
Yes, I could indeed.
How is that so?
Yup, if we go through a broker, I knew we would have to go through all the hassle that you just mentioned.
It's not a hassle, it's called legal process.
I sold it personally.
What?
I knew you were ignorant, but how do you not even know this?
Are you sure about this?
Of course I am. I'm the #1 salesman out of the team at my work. I know how to sell and I don't need no broker.
I'm not talking about how to sell it.
I was able to sell that house for twice the amount if I were to go through a broker.
Oh, you just won't realize what you've done.
What are you talking about? The buyers agreed to buy the house for that price too. It's not like I did anything illegal and there shouldn't be any problems.
You know that this transaction is invalid, right? We owned that house jointly and I never agreed to sell the house. That makes your transaction legally invalid.
What? But then I got the money and they got the house.
Which doesn't legally justify anything. Since your transaction is legally invalid, the transaction you had with the buyers pretty much means that it almost never happened.
What?
It's pretty straightforward. You wouldn't even be able to legally change the ownership with your method.
Is that gonna be a problem?
It's going to be a big problem. You sold the house without getting it properly inspected, knowing its value, or legally changing the ownership. Additionally, you sold it for more than what it's worth.
So what's gonna happen to me then?
Since the transaction is invalid, you will have to return the money that you collected from the buyers. They could sue you for what you've done too.
Sue me? What the heck? How is that possible? They agreed to buy the house, so they gave me the money and I gave them the house.
Okay, but I never agreed to sell the house.
Can't you just agree to it right now?
Huh?
That's right. Look, Melanie, it's not too late yet, is it? Can't you just agree to...
Not gonna happen.
Make it happen. We're married. We need to get each other's back.
You and I are no longer married.
Oh, that's right.
Besides, even if I agreed to everything and things go seamlessly, have you considered the capital gain for the transaction you had?
What the heck is a capital gain? I sold it personally. I don't have to pay taxes.
The fact is, you do have to pay taxes.
No way!
Well, it is possible to receive up to $300,000 in tax deduction from the capital gain if the sold house was solely meant for living purposes. However, on the other hand, if the house was sold for anything more than $300,000, it would mean that we would be in the negative value, which becomes the taxable value for federal and state income tax. The sum of federal tax and state income taxes will be the amount of tax that you would owe in total.
So
what was the selling price for our house?
the selling price? Let me think. I think it was somewhere around $600,000.
Okay, so $600K minus $300K deduction would be $300K. Rounding the taxes to around 40%, you would have to pay around $120K in taxes.
What the heck? Is that calculation even right?
It is correct indeed. While you would be able to legally sell a house without going through a broker, you are still going to have to pay for taxes, and it can cost a lot.
No one told me about this.
Don't tell me that you used all the money without even thinking about the taxes.
I still have some left, but I won't have any left after I pay those stupid taxes.
And that's why brokers have a job.
But brokers would charge us fees, so that's why I thought it's better to sell the house without going through one.
You could have only spent about 23.3% in taxes if you went through a broker.
What? That's only half.
Yep, the tax rate would be different if your transaction was with a corporation, which would have been a lesser value of 23.3%.
Why didn't you tell me all of this if you knew?
How would I have been able to tell you?
You should have given me a call to educate me on this.
Why do I have to give you a call out of the blue to talk about taxes?
It's called mindfulness.
My question is, how would I pinpoint my subject to taxes and give you a call about it?
You could have, couldn't you?
Are you mistaking me with a radio tower or something? Besides, who would ever think that their spouse would do something like this while being gone to take care of their parents?
Couldn't you have written me a letter or something?
Don't make me repeat myself. You need to realize that you did this to yourself, selling the house without having all parties technically agree to sell the house.
I didn't know. What could I have done?
You're lying. I told you.
Just quit picking on me, all right?
You can't pretend like you didn't know. I told you when we bought that house together. It's on you for forgetting what I told you.
Oh, shut up. By the way, how do you even know so much about property sales?
Huh?
Maybe you're trying to trick me by telling me a lie just to freak me out because you're mad at me for breaking up with you and selling the house.
Oh, I'm not like you.
I'm not like that.
Joshua, don't tell me that you don't even know what I do for a living.
I never even had to ask you where you work at. I'm sure you work part-time at a random grocery store down the street or something.
I have a part-time job real estate agency.
Huh?
You're right that I work part-time, but it's at a real estate agency.
What?
And I do have a real estate license too.
What the heck? How are you telling me this now? I'm already losing so much money.
You are losing so much money because you did things without really thinking anything through.
Oh, shut up! Why didn't you educate me on everything then? Didn't you care about me?
You need to stop looping back to that.
I never thought you would do this to me. I trusted you.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm the one who was betrayed and dumped. Why are you acting like you're the victim here?
You probably think you won this game.
What game?
But then I'm still gonna be left with some money too. Take that.
I don't think this is about winning or losing. If you can't legally change the ownership of that property, your transaction becomes invalid. You do understand that you are legally required to return that small amount of cash you have on hand, in addition to the rest of the money that the buyers have paid you for that house, right?
What? No way!
I'm not joking. You refund for what needs to be returned.
I can't give back what I don't have.
Huh?
I've spent pretty much all the money to buy a new house.
A new house? You bought a new house again? Why?
Do you want to know?
Not really, I guess.
I wanted to live in a brand new house with my new fiancé after I break up with you. Take that.
Okay.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Huh?
May we take a seat?
Um,
Go ahead, help yourself.
hey, what's going on here?
You better explain yourself.
Melanie told us everything.
We found out that you ripped us off quite badly.
That's not true.
Go ahead and shut up, you scammer.
Huh?
Melanie helped us get that house inspected. We found out that we paid double what we should have. You better explain this to us right now.
Oh, hey, Melanie.
Yes?
Why are these guys here?
Don't you dare call us guys.
Huh?
All right, now that all parties are here, let's start the discussion.
That's right.
Let's get started. That house was jointly owned by Joshua and I. I have never agreed to sell the house. I wasn't even made aware. Therefore, unfortunately, the transaction you had with Joshua is invalid.
Melanie, look, as long as you agree to sell the house, I'm sure that problem should take care of itself.
We're not asking you, you bastard.
Huh?
I am very sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I would have to ask you to kindly return us the property. Joshua here will be refunding the entire amount that you paid him.
Refund the entire amount?
This is quite upsetting.
But we both understand.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yes?
You can't just ask me to refund that money out of nowhere. Do you guys even realize how much I'd owe you?
That's your problem and not ours.
Oh, but,
The transaction was invalid. You need to return the money or else we're filing this to the police.
the police?
Of course we'd talk to them. We're willing to return what you ask, and you're not willing to refund the money.
Yeah, but I don't have $600,000 to return.
Perhaps we could sue you for fraud and make this a lawsuit.
So what are you going to do? We could start making our way to the police station right now.
Wait, please, don't do that! I could pay what I can pay, little by little.
Oh, I almost forgot to tell you.
What now?
Since I discovered that this divorce was due to your adultery, I will be charging you alimony.
What the? How could you say that, especially when all of this is going on?
That's not it, Cupcake. Have you forgotten?
Forgotten what?
You forged the divorce paperwork and filed it without my consent.
So what? How is that a problem?
It's a huge problem.
Why? I made sure the forms were filled out completely and correctly. It's been officially filed. What's the problem?
You filled out my portions that I was supposed to fill out, correct?
What's your point?
And you do know that this is a crime, right?
Huh?
It's common sense, right, honey?
Common sense indeed.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
You signed the paperwork on my behalf without my consent. This constitutes forgery, which is defined as the act of falsely representing someone's authorization or consent to sign a document.
What?
And I've already filed a police report for this.
What? Why would you do that?
So this means...
Yep, we can go ahead and file a police report for fraud against this guy.
What? Wait, hold on a second.
Yes?
Why are you guys all bullying me like this? All I've done was get divorced and sell the house.
The way you got divorced?
And the way you sold the house.
We're all illegal, and you're a criminal indeed.
What? But then the reason why I cheated on Melody and broke up with her is because she was becoming no longer attractive, and that's her fault.
Are you trying to blame me?
Kind of, in a sense. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not only you weren't attractive, but you also left me alone for 6 months to take care of your parents.
What?
When we got married, you said you loved me more than anyone else. You used to take really good care of me. But then you suddenly left me because all you cared about was your parents. I want to come home to a loving wife, but I couldn't. This was all because you were gone and I was feeling lonely. You didn't care anything about me, did you?
Oh God, how could you act like this now?
I was so sad and lonely for 6 months. You need to give me a break and forgive me for cheating. But you were so inconsiderate and you wouldn't break up with me even when I talked about it. That's why I thought I'm just going to get it done without you and have a brand new life with my brand new girlfriend with a brand new house. How would I be guilty of anything?
Guilty, inside and out.
You guys too!
Huh?
When I talked to you guys initially, you were so excited to buy the house from me. But just because Melanie talked to you guys, you've turned your back. And now you're trying to collect money from me. How dare you do this to me?
Are we speaking the same language?
Oh, shut up.
Would you like to go ride the police car?
Huh? Oh, please, have mercy.
What the?
Please don't report this to the police. I will make sure I pay back the money I owe. So please, I beg you, don't report this to the police. Pretty please. As everyone knows, I just recently purchased a new house. I still need to pay back for the debt for the house and the appliances. I can't have a criminal record, and I need to keep my job. Don't you think that's too cruel on me?
Have you ever heard what goes around comes back around?
Just tell me yes or no.
Nope.
What about you, Melanie?
Not at all.
Then, does that mean...
Hello, is this the police station? I would like to ask for assistance disposing of this trash here.
Is that trash me?
Joshua has been prosecuted for all his sins. With the combined property refund, penalties, alimony, and compensation, he now has a debt of $520,000. He had no choice but to sell the new house to pay back any portion of what he could pay back. But even then, he was left with about $200,000 in debt. To add, this incident ended up causing a huge problem for his new fiancée, and she broke up with him. She also had no idea that Joshua was still technically a married man, and she plans on suing him for this. I heard he currently lives in a cheap apartment down the street, all alone. As for me, I went ahead and legally sold the house that the Smiths returned to us and moved into a new house with a nice city view. I'm excited with my new home, and I'm going to spend some relaxing time enjoying myself as a company. Trouble Busters!